I was like, is it coming back? Yeah, we came back. Yay. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Coffee Table Talks with Volan Technology. I am really excited for this one today because it is like we've had a few vendors start up with the program that started last end of November, I guess, December, for the Innocent Lives Foundation. If you guys are not familiar, definitely go check out innocentlivesfoundation.org. Okay, it's a foundation that Chris Hadnaggy, this is his baby, and all the folks over there are fantastic and wonderful. Their main mission, good morning, Vicki, is to unmask child predators online, right? So something very, very serious, and these folks need a lot of help and support. One of the ways that we're doing that is through technology partners like Volan. I'm so excited to talk about you guys. Are contributing by allowing folks to come check out the technology. And for those that qualify, a donation will be made back for viewing that demo to the Innocent Lives Foundation, which is such a very cool thing. I love that we have so many interest. It's super awesome. So circle up, grab a cup. Here we go. Oh, and if anybody's wondering, yes, no, do not just look. Josh got me a new thing and couldn't wear the glasses with it, right? Because look, this is that's distracting. Okay, so contacts. All right, it's still me. I'm not a different person. Thor will tell you the truth of it. So thank you, Michael. You are the CEO and co-founder and chairman of the board. There we go. Not that you were solely the board, but chairman of the board for Volan Technology. So we got the guy that knows what he's talking about. I'm excited.
Man of all trades.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Will.
Thank you for being here this morning.
Really happy to be here.
Good, that's great. So can you tell us a little, let's do a little high level view of what it is that Volan Technology is doing and kind of how you got there and the mission and the why, right? I love the why. There's always a good story in there.
Sure. Well, then I'll start with the why and what we've got today. So I've got a long background in enterprise tech startups, and I actually came from a company called Blade Logic that provided some software for helping data centers update their software for the latest security bugs, and we made some configuration management software. I was running sales operations and marketing for that company. That company went public and got sold. And I really wanted to tackle something else, and specifically in the area of security, physical safety and security, primarily in schools and hotels, big complex buildings with lots of moving people in them. And I felt that, that technology could do a better job than it was in protecting teachers, protecting students from intruders, protecting hotel housekeepers from assault. And so really wanted to use technology in a smarter way to do that than was being done at the time a couple of years ago. So the inspiration, frankly, behind the Volan name, I was thinking about who are modern day rescuers, and really who's inspirational for that. And if anyone here remembers, there were 12 young boys stuck in a cave in Thailand.
Yeah, I do.
Right, about 4 years ago, and nobody could find them, right, for about a week. And so one of the lead rescuers who rescued all 12 boys unharmed was a guy named John Volan. And I thought that was just super cool that he did that. But I was also thinking that if those kids had the ability to have some device on them that formed a network just by those people being together, they could have maybe found them through a network, like a dynamic network rather than a fixed network. So that was the genesis of how we got started. And what we ended up building is a 100% Bluetooth mesh network technology that has zero dependency on GPS or Wi-Fi or cell phones. It's literally the people in the network who make it up. And that gives us, combined with geofencing ability, which I'll talk about, it gives us the ability to do real-time location positioning of thousands of individuals at scale in schools and hotels. So if there's an emergency, the teacher in room 504 on the 5th floor of the high school can be identified in seconds by a responder on the opposite side of the building and know how to respond, know who's reporting it, know what the emergency type is. So this whole level of information for responders that didn't exist is available through the network that we built. So that's why we got started and what drives the entire team. It's a mission-based company that way. Our success is when we know we've made schools safer, for example.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome.
That's absolutely fantastic.
Thank you, Will.
So
you're good.
Give me just a rough idea. I mean, because there's a lot of different folks that are trying to crack this nut to some degree. Do you have an example of it or something like that you can kind of show?
I do. So, if you think about the traditional location positioning networks, right? Basically, there's fixed networks in place like Aruba networks and Cisco networks, right? And then you've got smartphones. But the beacons in those fixed networks are constantly advertising and looking for other devices. And that opens up, as this group knows, security vulnerabilities for sniffing, for capturing things. So we really flipped the model on its head, where we made the cards, these little credit card size cards that people wear. I'll hold up my Apple card without the credit card number.
This is a cybersecurity show, right?
Right. Nobody saw that number, right? So these are credit card size, student ID badge size cards that actually are much smarter than the beacons. So the beacons in our network are all mesh related. They relay messages, and they do geofencing by room. And these are exactly the same size. So you literally power these on the back. You use our app to drag and drop and create geofences, and you've got a network in a large building like a school in about 2 days. Very quick to install. But all the smarts really are built into these cards. So when these leave the property, for example, they automatically disconnect from the network. There's nothing stored on here except a 4-digit anonymous ID number. So if it's lost or stolen or hacked, there's nothing on here that identifies it by person or by property. So we've locked that down. But the part that you're talking about, Will, is that the cards are the ones that wake up and look for beacons and really, place themselves in the particular geofence where they are every couple of seconds. So it removes that sniffing ability that exists in some traditional networks.
Fascinating. That's really cool. Just to kind of help out some folks, the normal way some of this works, right, is that you'll have like your cell phone or something along those lines, where your app will be saying, hey, where is the network, right? Where is what I'm trying to find? And the fun part of that for the hacking types is that we can pick up people that are like, when they are advertising, hey, where's my home Wi-Fi? We can say, oh, they live there, right? So what you're saying is that these cards don't advertise that when they leave the campus?
That's right. These literally, so these cards wake up periodically and look for Volan beacons. And if they don't see a Volan beacon, they go right back to sleep. They don't advertise themselves. So, and the beacons don't advertise themselves as well. So you've got something that's really only speaking when it's it's a Volan device to Volan device. That's
nice. That's nice. And when you show the beacons that you mount around the campus,
that's right.
How expensive are those puppies? Are they?
They're less expensive than a puppy, much less expensive. So what we did, Will, is we basically price these on a per person basis. So for example, for schools in K-12, we have a lot of school customers. It's, they're very comfortable with per student pricing. So our per student pricing is like $4 to $5 per month, all in. They get the school gets the entire network. They get all the cards. They get the beacons that do the geofencing. They get the software and all the upgrades. So for that $4, say call it $48 per month, per year. Makes it very easy for them to adopt.
$4 per month or per year? That's what I was getting right now.
Yeah, sorry. $4 per month per person, all in. So you're talking, under $50 a year. I like to say it's less than the cost of one hot lunch per month per student, right? If you look at it that way.
But are you saying the campus or the college doesn't have to pay for the infrastructure?
Correct. I mean, for that price, the infrastructure is included. So unlike traditional, networking infrastructure, which is $400 or $500 per access point and more, plus all on top of that, these are all included. And like I said, the beauty of what we built being on Bluetooth 5 standard, it's obviously a standard that's easy to integrate. It's very inexpensive, and it's just simple to operate. Like literally, we've had a school principal put up the network, just turn these on, put them in the room. They're powered by a micro USB port, and you just use our app to drag and drop, and you've got geofences in hallways, stairways, rooms, wherever moving people are that you want to know in case there's an emergency.
Yeah, we have a question from LinkedIn, Richard Harris. So the beacons are listening. The cards query for a beacon, and then it connects?
Yeah, the cards query for a beacon, and then the cards publish their ID to a group of beacons. So we're using a combination of triangulation and smart geofencing to constrain the position to a particular room.
Okay, just back up just to make sure I got this straight. So the cards that you're carrying don't advertise out, right? It's the cards that are on the campus that are advertising, that are saying, hey, there's a Volan network here. So that when the person who has a card enters, once their card hears that there's a Volan network available, then they speak. Is that correct?
That's right. The cards sleep, and they periodically wake up to look for other Volan beacons. And if they don't see it, they go back to sleep. If they do see it, they then look for a series of them to publish their location to. And then we use some geofencing software in the app to actually make sense of that. So you might know traditional beacons, the problem with location positioning is it's like a 360-degree mushroom cloud, right? That is very difficult to constrain even by floor. And so what we heard in the beginning in building this is that, you get signal bleed between floors, between rooms, and you really didn't know. And I always like to tell someone it's like calling 911 from your house, and the police and fire have to search 3 houses before they find you, right? It's unacceptable, right? And so the same rules or the same standard should apply in the workplace, where you want them to know exactly where you're having an emergency. And that hasn't existed with traditional beacon methods. So we tried to change that.
So then the thing first of all, things where this is really sounding cool, because that means that if I can't sit at Starbucks and pick up folks that have Volan beacons because it's not broadcasting out. And then 2, I'm not having to pay hundreds of dollars. If I'm an institution, I'm not having to pay hundreds of dollars per Volan card to set up just to be able to have that around my campus. Because like here at Pima, we've got very large campuses, and that gets, kind of a little expensive when you start putting in those big things. So that, by putting that's kind of a game changer, sir. That's really kind of cool.
Thank you. I think so too, Will. I would agree with that. I mean, we're all super excited as a team because we think we're onto something early when the time is really needed. We all know that schools and other workplaces need to be safer. So, we actually built this before COVID and launched it in a beta, pilot format before COVID. Frankly, what we ended up adding during COVID, which comes with the analytics, is that we had quickly realized that we built like 90% of what was needed for doing like contact tracing across rooms, which is precise location positioning of people as they move around a property. So I had our engineering team spend a couple months last year building an analytics back end so we can do anonymous analytics of devices that move, and those get matched up in the encrypted iPad app that we have. So it's the 2 parts. So there's an analytics part, and there's the physical safety and security part that is just core.
So with those little devices, if those go around campus, how are they powered?
Sure. So they're rechargeable lithium-ion batteries. Right now, they're micro USB chargeable. We're moving to a USB-C port in a couple of months. They last between 2 weeks and a month, depending on how frequently. Yeah, it depends how frequently you want to update the location positioning of a particular card.
So what's one of your favorite use cases so far for the technology?
Well, favorite means, for me, it's the biggest impact.
Right.
It's school safety and security, right? I mean, I'm a parent, lots of parents, I'm sure, on this call, and, it's pretty frustrating to see, people who can't respond appropriately, or that the first responders who are responding to some incident at school don't have the information or the data they need to be the most effective. And so I would say, that's the best use case that drives me every day. We've got other use cases that we didn't expect in the beginning when we built this. We just installed 2 days ago it's like a Fortune 200 manufacturing company who wants to just do workforce analytics to report like where workers spend their time in different parts of the factory so they can understand cost models of their products better. And they want to do it using these cards, all anonymously, just knowing like, here's a machine operator, here's a forklift driver, and report that information up to the back end for profit and loss analysis. I think that's super cool, but that one specifically doesn't relate to safety and security yet.
So then the other aspect is, does it integrate with any, or do you have plans to integrate it with other technologies like, say, card readers, that kind of deal? And can you slap an ID on it?
Yeah, great question, Will. So we've already done an integration with an RFID chip company. It's an access control company called Dormakaba. It's a German-Swiss company. They're pretty big in the hotel industry. We basically have a partnership where we put their RFID inlays and chips into the card. So this card actually will open and interoperate with Dormakaba systems today. We've got a couple of others in the works to add on to that, but it's as simple as changing out the inlay and the antenna in the back of the card. So that makes it interoperable with as you say, the access control system. We have our eye on integrating it next into some POS systems so they can be used to pay for things at the cafeteria. So eventually, you replace the outdated, HID cards that just, open doors here and there with a smart card that can do 3 things, safety and security, contact tracing, and access control.
That's awesome, because where my mindset is going with that is, if this is to be safety for everybody, then you need to have a reason for them to have it on their body, and a key is a really good aspect of that. If you can't get in the door, well, you need to have your keys, right?
That's right. That's right. So it's a good example. We've got to deal with an airport now that is in first phase rollout. They've got about 14,000 badged employees, carry around the traditional badges, and they're going to be rolling out Dormakaba. So the idea is to replace all those. But you're right, is that access, pay for things, and your safety and security card if there's an emergency. Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Otherwise, how do you get students to keep a hold of them, right?
Yeah. Oh, so your other question was about, could you put an ID, a photo on it? Yeah, of course. Just like the regular student ID badges, there could be a photo put on it. The student cards don't come with buttons. They come with like lights, emergency action lights, so that, if you're on the baseball field, there's a lockdown, evacuation. When the principal presses lockdown on this card, it goes out, in a second across the property to everybody that they need to go into lockdown. And the other integration that we've done is to integrate that with locks. So you imagine Bluetooth locks on doors could lock those doors automatically when there's a lockdown. And that speed of response time is really what's critical in a situation like that.
Absolutely. Because that's, unfortunately, with the way things are these days, the biggest fear in a campus situation, of course, is a first-person shooter type scenario or things along those lines, or just a disaster type thing. And for just a personal question along these lines, on your testing, living here in Tucson, how well do they handle 115-degree direct sunlight?
Right. Like on a dashboard, left on the dashboard somewhere.
Yeah.
We haven't tested it on a dashboard, but we have done laboratory heat testing and cold testing and moisture testing and all that. I think it's like 120 degrees, but I'd have to double check. So, but it's a good thing. Maybe we should do the dashboard test.
Yeah, here in Tucson, you know, if you have, depending upon your seat covers, you have to have a pancake flipper, you know, because if your shorts hit that.
Well, if anybody's a material, you know, geek on watching, you know, a lot of dashboards are made from ABS plastic, right? That's been molded. Our cases are made from ABS plastic, and you know, we've got the electronics inside sealed, so it should be at least as durable as your dashboard.
So if your dashboard hasn't melted yet, the card should be okay. Should. That's Will, I'm not actually looking forward to coming to see you in October anymore. Is it still going to be hot?
Oh no, October is great.
Okay, good.
Well, we have a good part of our team is in Las Vegas. We call it Volan West, and so similar intense heat there, and we haven't had any issues. So.
Good. Good. We got somebody checking this out and testing it out. That's awesome.
It's the June, July, August that it's real fun here.
Yeah. I'm not doing that. No, thank you. I'm the silly one that's definitely planned a trip to Miami in August though. So
yeah, actually our team was in. So we've been selling into a lot of meetings. You know, people want to get back to business meetings, right? And so from a contact tracing perspective or even analytics perspective, we've been doing basically we'll go in and geofence a meeting space for 2 days and take it down. It's so easy to set up. And I'm super proud to say we even geofenced a yacht in Miami for a luncheon event. Our product manager went in there 20 minutes, geofenced the yacht, and we captured data that got uploaded to the cloud through a cellular connection, so we didn't lose anything. So it's that kind of thing that you can do with a more nimble architecture like we've built today. So
then, now I'm just making an assumption here, but already perceiving that you're one of the good guys, when you have this service and you start becoming the hottest thing on the planet, you'll keep good protection over that information, right? Not sell it to other folks as to how many people went here and did that and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, thanks, Will. That's a good point. We've taken that really seriously, I got to say, and I'd like to share with the group here. So early on, we partnered with one of the leading organizations in the school space called the Student Data Privacy Consortium, which is part of A4L, which is a data standards body that schools follow, right, to exchange information with states. The head of that group, Larry Fruth, has advised us on like student data privacy from the beginning. So there's a couple things that we did that we think are really, you know, game-changing and really important. One is, as I mentioned, there's nothing stored on the cards except the 4-digit ID number. They disconnect from the geofence automatically. It's a little bit like your phone, you know, disconnecting from your car if you walk too far away. But the difference is our customers can set that range, like outside the school bus area, for example. The third thing is, if the schools store any names inside the app, we don't even have access to that as Volan. The only thing we can see on our side are those 4-digit ID numbers. Only the school principal can see a student name if they want to. And in that case, what they're doing is they're doing like automatic rostering and attendance using the location information that's captured. But we can't even see that, so we are not in a position, nor do we have a business model to even sell that kind of information. No interest in it. Yep, our business is a subscription model.
Excellent, excellent.
Thank you.
Is that, you know, PII is so important, especially anyone having to do compliance. That could be a nightmare otherwise. And so I'm glad you've got that built in and have have that sense of care, which is
100%. The duty of care, as we like say internally, for sure. So it's top of mind in almost every feature and decision that we make.
That's awesome. That is very cool. So if
Thank
anybody
you.
wants to take a look at a demonstration with Volan technology, head on over to the ILF page, D for D, Demos for Donations. Let me grab a link for you. Probably should have had that ready, but you know, super prepared. Wow. I'm really sad I didn't have that up. I was looking at a bunch of other stuff from the site. Anywho, while we were chatting here. Anyway, there's a form there that you can fill out, and one of the lovely folks over at the ILF will get back in contact with you and set that up for you. Very cool thing. Way to check out technology that you may be interested in and also contribute to a wonderful cause. We are so excited that Volan has climbed on board, especially with something that actually kind of goes hand in hand, I think, a lot with the Innocent Lives Foundation mission, which is, you know, protecting the youth and children, and it's really cool what's been going on here. So I'm super stoked.
Yeah, we love what Innocent Lives is doing, and when we got introduced to it, it was an immediate, we want to get involved. So appreciate anybody who here wants to see a demo of the product, sign up there, and the donations will happen immediately. So
yeah, there we go. Now I'm ready. I got it, guys. Got it together.
Perfect.
We've got some other really great partnerships coming up. There's something in the works. Just it's under wraps just yet, but it's with Immersive Labs. So I'm very excited about that. More on that later. We are so glad that y'all stopped by and hung out with us. Will, did you have any closing thoughts?
I'm just very grateful to come across, a vendor that cares and somebody who has made that a absolutely essential part of their mission, their vision, and what they're doing. And that is refreshing, sir. And thank you very much for doing so.
Thank you, Will. Appreciate it. Thank you, Rachel.
Yes, no, thank you so much, Michael. And next week, we're going to be talking with another Michael. By the way, this one's from Cloud Knox, though. What is it with me and Michaels? I don't know. I like a Michael Beacon. Michaels and Chris's. It's a thing. It happens all the time.
Yeah, so then Rachel was going to say something like, "Oh, Will, remember that one with Michael?" It'll be
yeah. You're like, that's very descriptive of you, Rachel. Fantastic.
Someone called me Chris the other day. It's funny you say that.
It's a thing. I don't know why. I know like I've started listing people out by their last name like I'm some sort of militant person. It's just a thing. I'm going to start calling Chris Roberts here after a little while. But yeah, come back next week and check us out, guys. I'm going to update all the events on the Secure Nation page because, whoops, I should have done that. I did not. No. I was doing really good, though. I was real proud of myself. Like, I had like 6 weeks worth of events like planned out and plotted. It was awesome, right? Because Rachel things. Anyway. Y'all come back and see us next week. We love you so much. Y'all have a great weekend.
Thank you, everyone.